There are hundreds of survey sites floating around out there telling you that you can make easy money from the couch, but which ones are actually worth your time? Today, I'm ranking 15 of the most popular survey sites here in Australia from A to E based on my personal experiences with them. Now, if you don't know who I am, welcome to my page. My name's Amy. I'm so glad you're here. My entire page is teaching Aussies how to make more money and save more money. About 6 months ago, I quit my full-time job to do side hustles and content creation full-time, and I have not looked back. In saying that, let's get into the rankings. I'm going to start off pretty strong with Octopus Group. They are one of my very favorites. They're the ones that I've been using almost the longest, but I'm going to give these guys an A. Now, the reason for this, they have such good paying surveys. I do wish that they were available a little bit more often, but the pay of the ones you do get on there are really, really good. And so for that reason, they're getting an A. I'm not really going in any particular order here, but let's go down to HeyCash. These guys are honestly pretty standard. I'm going to give them a C purely because there's nothing that really stands out about them. I feel like they're your pretty typical run-of-the-mill survey site. They pay okay. They're nothing special. I don't run to them as my first survey app for sure. Now let's jump over to 5 Surveys. Now 5 Surveys is a little bit different because every single survey on there, you get paid $1 no matter the length. So I'm going to give this one a B because I love the fact that you can just pick and choose which ones you want to do based on the length, and you know you're going to get paid $1 regardless. And with these guys, you do 5 surveys, you get $5 and you can cash out then. So I think it's just a really easy way to dip your toe into surveys, and I really like this platform. If you guys like hearing about all things side hustles and making money, definitely go and give my page a follow. I do weekly vlogs every single week going through the different side hustles I've done that week and just sharing a little bit about my life. So I would love if you guys stuck around. And also let me know in the comments your experiences with any of these different survey sites, because I know it differs from person to person so much. Let's knock off one of the heavy hitters, Adapole. I feel like these are the OG. I think it's available almost worldwide, but they're going to get a C because the surveys don't pay the best on there, but there's always surveys available, so I can't give them any lower than a C. They're the ones that I started out with. They still are really good surveys if you put enough time into it. That's the only thing. You can't really take a break with them. You can get up to $3, $4, $5 paying surveys on there, but you have to be really consistent with them for like a month or 2 to start getting those surveys. So for that reason, it's getting a C. Where should we jump to next? All right, I think let's jump over to QME. Now, QME is going to get a B. They don't have the best paying surveys on there. They're still really, really good compared to a lot of survey sites that are out there, but they have a lot of fun features on there that aren't on a lot of other survey sites. So I think that's why they get that little extra bump up to a B. So for example, they have a browser extension that you can have on your Chrome account. And if you're just searching on Google, if an ad pops up on the side with the little QME logo on it, if you click on that, you can earn up to like 5-6 cents just for clicking on that ad. So I love that as just like a little extra perk that a lot of other survey sites don't have. I don't think I've even seen it on any other site. Let's jump over to a dud of mine. Now this is Perle Surveys. I've actually heard people talking about this and how much they like it, but I'm giving it an E. And the reason for that is that I've been signed up to them since 2017. It is 2025 now, and I have not once received a survey from them. I have not earned a single dollar on there. I have my email alerts turned on. I have not once been sent an email from them. So for that reason, they're getting an E. Let me know if your experience is any different with them, but I personally wouldn't ever tell anyone to go and waste their time signing up because it was clearly useless for me. While we're in that B column, let's head over to Surveys with a Z that's getting a B. Now, I personally love surveys. They pay really, really well. But I'm going to say it's definitely, in my experience anyway, it's definitely aimed more at the older demographic. I feel like my parents get so many surveys on there. I generally don't get many on there, but it's getting a B because it wants you to link your bank account on there, which I know a lot of people aren't comfortable doing. Now, it does this because you get really hyper-specific surveys. So say you go through the drive-thru at Macca's, you tap your card. In like 3-4 days, you could get a survey about your experience at McDonald's. So you get really, really specific surveys that you're definitely not going to get screened out of. But I know a lot of people aren't going to be comfortable linking their bank account. I personally do, and I've had absolutely no issues. I've had it linked for years, same with my parents. But it's getting a B purely because of that. So it's not necessary to be on the site, but it definitely gives you way more surveys. Next, I'm going to give Top Surveys a C as well. I feel like it's pretty run-of-the-mill. It's nothing super exciting. There's nothing that really stands out to me. It's a fine survey app. I'll jump on there if I feel like the other survey sites are lacking, but it's definitely not one of my first picks. Now, Eureka, I'm going to give this one a C+. I'm going to put this one smack bang in the middle because they have this really fun thing on there where every time you cash out, you actually get, I think it's $1.20 survey. To cash out, you need $6 on there. So you need to have your minimum balance is $6. And then once you cash out, it gives you a survey about how the cash out experience was, and you get another $1.20 just for answering that. So that already bumps up your balance really, really quickly. So I really like it for that because I don't think any of the other survey sites have those cash out surveys. And I think it's just a really fun extra way, but the surveys aren't super high paying on there. So to get to that $6 sometimes is a little bit of a slog, but I do like that little bonus on there. Let's go down to influence surveys. This one is really quite a unique one. It's nothing like any of the other survey sites on here. And this one's getting an A. I absolutely love influence because they're actually video surveys. So you don't really have to answer many questions like just typing on your phone. You do a couple of qualifying questions to get the video surveys, but then you just have to answer. Generally, they'll come in sets of like 5 or 6 questions about the same brand, and you'll actually film little like 15, it's a minimum of 15 seconds, I think up to a minute long surveys, and you get 75 cents per question. So it takes you like a minute each question and you get 75 cents. So that's amazing. And I feel like that's just such a more like fun, interactive way to do it than just sitting there scrolling on your phone, answering questions with like A, B, or C. It's just such a different survey site, so that's why it's getting an A. By the way, if you want any of the links to the survey sites I personally recommend, or any of the other side hustles that I recommend, I do mystery shopping, market research, a bunch of different things. I have a whole free side hustle guide down in my Stan store. I have it linked in the description. Now, this next one, let's do Curious Cat. I feel like no one talks about this one, and it's probably for a good reason. It's getting a D. The reason it's getting a D is because I don't get offered many surveys on there at all. But the reason it's not getting an E is purely because they have so many like random free point bonuses. They'll email them out all the time, and all you need to do is click the link from your email and then it'll automatically get added to your balance. So I really like that. It feels like they're trying, but I feel like the surveys just aren't high paying enough for me to consistently check the app, and there's barely any on there anyway. All right, we're down to our last 4. Let's do Pure Profile. Now, Pure Profile is one of my all-time favorites. It's getting an A because they're super high paying. There's always surveys on there, and I feel like I get screened out the least on this site. It's definitely my most consistent earner, and I feel like the surveys just in general, they work a little bit better on this specific site. I feel like on Adapole, I get screened out a lot more, or the surveys are just broken, but in Pure Profile, that happens far, far less. All right, let's do Prime Opinion next. I feel like it's pretty standard when it comes to the payout on there, but there's always surveys on there. I don't love that you get paid in points that you have to convert. I always love just getting straight cash a lot more, just because I feel like doing the conversion while you're picking which survey to do is a little bit annoying, but the pay is still pretty decent on there. So for that reason, it's getting a B. It's not getting up into my A tier, but it's deserved that B. Let's do Mint Surveys down here on the end. We're up to second last. This one is going to get a B. Now, there's not heaps of surveys on here. I feel like a lot of you guys might not have heard of Mint Surveys. The cool thing about this one is they actually send you out a physical gift card in the mail, which is just like, it's kind of a novelty that I like on there, but the surveys pay pretty decently. They're just not super, super common. Generally, they won't have any on the actual site, but you get sent out the surveys in your emails. So definitely have that email toggle turned on if you're going to go and sign up. But I've put it in B because the surveys pay pretty well. I don't have to check the site all the time because they let me know when there's a survey available. And the novelty of getting a gift card in the mail is kind of fun. And lastly, we're going to put Prolific in A. If you guys have seen any of my other videos before, you probably knew where Prolific was going. Prolific is one of my favorites purely because they are the most interesting surveys. I think out of all of these survey sites, they're definitely the most interesting purely because they're usually like university studies, and they're just a little bit easier to sit through than like just doing a bunch of ticking and crossing on which like media outlets you use, or, you know, what kind of food you buy. These are generally like really thought-provoking surveys, and they're just so much easier to sit through. And also it helps that the pay is really good as well. Generally it pays in either pounds or USD, so the conversion to AUD is always really, really nice. But this is my final ranking. Let me know if you guys agree or don't agree. I feel like I might have ruffled some feathers with some of these sites on here, but let me know if I'm missing any as well, if there's any of your favorite survey sites that I haven't checked out yet. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, so I know to make more. And let me know if you want to see this sort of format of ranking my mystery shopping sites and my market research call sites as well, because this has been really, really fun.